and then that sort of takes the wind out of your proposal, then, doesn't it? Because it could help.
No, but
it could help some of your clients.
You
that have
asked me
some
if it could.
Right.
Yes, there are those cases where it could, but there are also cases where there may be a significant forfeiture, or the forfeiture may reach assets that belong to a parent or somebody who the defendant perceives to be innocent and takes the weight for it, so to speak, or agrees to plead guilty, because if he doesn't plead guilty, there could be a forfeiture of this property or that property, or the cash substitute is significant and it might impose a burden on his parents or his wife, or he's going to be going to jail anyway and he may as well do it to avoid that. And I'm not attributing, I mean, David and I worked shoulder to shoulder for a number of years, so I'm not ascribing that, but it is something that can invade the plea bargaining process. And it may not always be, for the good, or the threat of it is something that we all swing whatever clubs we have in our bag, defense attorneys and the prosecutor, but it is a significant leverage when there are financial consequences that can be attached to the failure, anecdotally. I was told if your client doesn't, this is a case in Manhattan, if your client doesn't agree to plead guilty and no jail time, we're gonna go after him to forfeit $130,000. And he's a retired, used to wear a badge, and he's retired. And there's a question of whether he was ill enough to warrant certain pension benefits. So you're told forfeit $130,000, and this is the district attorney, it wasn't me going to the district attorney, and it will abate any action by the Social Security Administration or by us. You have to make that restitution, but we could charge you $5,000 for every false statement or whatever. So I've been in the office, in the courtroom, in the assistant district attorney's office, where that becomes a very meaty piece of a plea bargain. And you've got a very inviting plea bargain, but you may have a very defensible case. But the financial consequences of litigating that case then enter into the mix. And innocent people do plead guilty. And this is another reason why an innocent person might plead guilty. And it happens all the time. We have, I get on my soapbox about what the Innocence Project has shown, but innocent people who have later been shown to not have committed the crime, have, because the risk of trial as opposed to what's been presented in the plea bargain is such that they'd rather plead guilty to a crime they didn't commit than expose themselves to 25 to life on a case. I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but anytime it's a perversion of the criminal justice system when there is now a financial motive rather than a guilt or innocence motive. And now I'm getting on my soapbox about it. It's not really addressed to this, but it's all funny to us until you're at the receiving end of an indictment, and there's a plea offer that may be very, very inviting, and the exposure on the other end for you to vindicate the fact that you didn't do X. I'm moving to vacate the plea of somebody who, it's only endangering the welfare of a child, but it's not a sex offense. But then they find out what the tail is to having pled guilty to that. But you want to get out of here. You don't want to force somebody to testify. It's just another reason why an innocent person might choose to plead guilty. And that's what is offensive to me.
Do you have any suggestions to safeguards against that? I mean, are you saying emphatically
I don't think you can.
Shouldn't enact the law, or do you have some concrete suggestions as to safeguards?
I was asked the question.
I understand.
I got on my soapbox and gave the answer.
And I have a follow-up question.
I don't think you can legislate. I don't think that that's something that can be legislated away.
And that's the same with every law, correct? I mean,
well,
really?
no, I don't know that it's the same with every law, but in terms of how the criminal justice system works, I mean, we see trials on television all the time. These gentlemen will tell you that it's single digits in terms of the number of cases, and I mean low single digits, 3, 4, 5% of cases that end up at trial. So cases are resolved either by the district attorney revisiting the case, agreeing to a plea to the charge or a lesser charge or some reformulation of what the penalty will be, but we resolve better than 95% of the cases by disposition. So this is